Lucknow for promoting, helping and mainstreaming the underprivileged children of Jharkhand. His area of specializations is fluid dynamics. The such interest areas are solute transport modeling, groundwater, contamination, mathematical modeling. He is also a member of American Society of Civil Engineers in USA and International Association of Hydrological Sciences, UK. Sir will talk on mathematical modeling and applications with specific reference to groundwater contamination. Please, sir.
Thank you. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
The screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to thank the entire administration of DIT Dehradun, who has given me an opportunity to talk about my topic of interest in the particular workshop, which is being organized in online mode. So today my topic of deliberation is mathematical modeling and applications with a specific reference to groundwater contamination. So let me give you the background very quickly of the groundwater contaminations and how the mathematical tools are being utilized here to model that particular problems. So what does it mean, groundwater contaminations? So any undesirable substance entering into the groundwater reservoir causes groundwater contamination. Normally, the people understand what groundwater does it mean. So the portion of water, you can see it's basically a part of hydrological cycle, circulating the water from the surface to the atmosphere, are coming back to the surface, going down to the subsurface by means of percolation, infiltrations and percolations, and ultimately it mixing with the ocean that we call as a groundwater reservoir and coming back to the atmosphere as well. So it is a part and parcel of the hydrological cycle. So here the portion of water which is not being evaporated from the surface. So where it is being going, it's a hydrologically it is being called as a runoff.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. इसको आप full mode पे कर दीजिए sir. Control L. Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. This
Okay.
is title. This is title slide, no?
So my main concern is how basically groundwater is being contaminating. So keeping in the view of that, the outline of the work which we are talking about the groundwater contamination, and then we will talk about the mathematical modeling of the same, and then the certain applications in this particular aspect. So how basically groundwater is being contaminating. So as I said here, the groundwater is nothing but a part and parcel of the hydrological cycle. So it is being contaminating in a different sources. So broadly, it is being talked about, it's a point source and non-point source. So two-way the groundwater reservoir is being contaminating. One is through point sources of contamination, another is from non-point sources of contamination. So say for example here, the point source contaminations is being taken as a on-site septic systems, leakage of tanks or pipelines contaminating petroleum products, municipal landfills, sewer leakage of sewer lines, fly ash from coal bed fire power plants. So these are the examples of point source contaminations. However, in the non-point source of contaminations, we are having a pesticides on agricultural land and forests, fertilizers on agricultural land, and waste drugs on the surface. So if you can see the pictorial representation of the various contaminations here, so you can see this is the well-known examples which we are quoting as a point source contamination here. So the septic effluent percolates to the water table. So you can see the septic tank, which is the part and parcel of the every household, and how the leakage of septic tank is percolating down and mixing with the water table. Water table is the, I mean, where the water pressure and hydrostatic pressures remain same. So, and you see in the each household is having a pumping well as well. And the pumping well is very well connected to the water table, which it is being contaminating. So this is one of the point source example of point source contaminations. Here you can see the pesticide spraying near the well. So this is an example of non-point source of contamination. I mean, the entire region, the pesticides is being spraying. So each and every point of the surface where the pesticides are lying, it is being reflecting as the non-point source of contamination. And you can see the discharges from the surface water bodies to the industrial and municipal waste. These are the example of how basically water bodies are being contaminating. The another example, you can see the pictorial representation how basically groundwater is being contaminating. So you can see here the landfills, the seepage, runoff which we were talking about, the portion of water which is not being evaporated, it is going down by means of percolation and infiltrations, and it is mixing with the water body. Here aquifer is a geological term. That means it is a geological formation that contains water and permits a significant amount of water. And here you can see any borewell, it is being lying in the aquifer zone. That is from where we are getting the water or extracting the water. I mean, the well is very well interconnected with the aquifer. Different types of aquifer are existing in the nature. So like aquifers, aquitard. So here you can see the septic tank which we were talking about, how basically it is being leaking and mixing with the aquifer. Pesticides which we are talking about spraying over the land surface, it is also being percolating down and mixing with the aquifer. So this is the general overview of the water bodies which exclusively we are talking about groundwater. I mean the geological term which we are talking as aquifer, how it is being contaminating. The main concern is how it could be modeled. So one is the groundwater contamination. So first we will talk about the how basically we are mathematically modeling this particular problems. So first we will focus on the point source contaminations. So initially the point source contamination is being taken into consideration. So this you can see the point source problem which we have modeled over here. Let us say, for example, a different sources, the contamination, I mean the solid particles are entering into the aquifer zone. So this is we consider as a one point source. This we can consider as another point source. This will be considering at the another point source, and so on and so forth. And if you will collectively, if you will see all these, if you will combine together, we can have a example of non-point source as well, because it is coming in a different sources and different point it is mixing with the aquifer zone. So the contaminant which are mixing with the water table, that we are considering as a origin. So for sake of convenience, we are considering as a origin, and from there onwards, it is being contaminants are transporting from the longitudinal directions as well as the lateral directions as well as the off diagonal dispersion as well. So here this particular problem in say forget about all these, let us say for example this is the contaminant which are mixing at one point only in the aquifer zone. Then this point source problem will be very well categorized as a advection dispersion equation. So advection dispersion equation here, it is advection term is coming into because of the solute movement here. The dispersion term is coming how solute is dispersing from one region to other regions. and C is representing the concentration of the solute, D is here representing the dispersion component, and U is representing the seepage velocity. So this is the advection dispersion equation. It is basically coming based on the law of conservation of mass and popularly known as the advection dispersion equation. Here it is one-dimensional advection dispersion equation we are considering. It may be extended up to two-dimensional, up to three-dimensional as well, depending upon the physical system which we are trying to model. And one very important theory here is lying to address this advection dispersion equation that we call as a dispersion theory, where dispersion is directly proportional to power of the seepage velocity, where power is ranging from 1 to 2. That has been established at the field scale, that is by Friis and Cherry in 1979. However, the Ghosh and Sharma in 2006, at the Indian context, N has been referred to 1 to 1.6. So still it is debatable the power of N, but it's broadly, if we can say, it is lying between 1 to 2. So how we are basically modeling? So our group, which we have done in this particular aspect, considering the constant source of contaminations, and these are the referring the work which we have done. And another is time dependent source of contaminations, where the work has been done in the last one decades or 2 decades, you can say. So categorically, this particular problem is being addressed in a different mode of contamination depending upon the source which you are referring to. Initially, the source contamination is taken as uniform, which is not always the case. So later on, once the knowledge and informations we get in the particular field, it will further extended as a time dependent source of contamination. It has been further updated in terms of a scale dependent source of contamination, and so on and so forth. So here, one problem which I would like to refer here, so far as non-point source problem is concerned. So what we did here, the group in which we are working, the non-point source problems, mathematically modeling of non-point source problem is a Herculean task, and we were trying to address this particular problem through the mathematical model, which was succeeded in 2016, and it was admitted in the Journal of Hydrology. It's a very renowned journal in the field of hydrology, where the mathematician is coming in is a challenge. So here the plane source problem is taken into consideration. What the consideration has been made here? So generalized form of plane is being taken into consideration for the study, the most general case for non-point source contaminations. And the domain is considered here as a semi-infinite, and the velocity of groundwater is in the positive direction of the x-axis. The time-dependent velocity and dispersion is considered to be the model system, and the three-dimensional advection dispersion equation with non-point source of contamination is being solved analytically using Laplace transform technique. And here you can see from there itself, we have also extracted the closed form solution derived to line source in two-dimensional and point source in one dimension. So if we will talk about the geometry of the problem, in this particular problem, basically the researchers has done the work independently for point source contamination, independently for line source contaminations, but it has not referred for plane source of contamination so far as mathematical model is concerned. So here the physical model of the system is, this is the aquifer zone where the groundwater flow in this particular directions, and this is the cross sections of the model system. And here you can see the source contamination is entering into the aquifer zone, and this is the soil zone which we have taken into consideration, and this is the axis XYZ directions which we have taken. So source contaminations which we are referring here, it is being represented by the plane source contaminations. So you can see the three-dimensional model which we have addressed over here. in the form of advection dispersion equation. So this is the solute storage term. Dx, dy, dz are the dispersion coefficients in along x, y, and z directions, and ux, uy, uz are the convective terms along x, y, and z directions. And to solve the differential equation, we need to have initial and boundary conditions. So here the initial conditions which is being taken at t is equal to 0 is 0, meaning thereby is initially the solute concentration, there is no concentration exists in the aquifer system. Literally we can see it's a contaminant free system we are considering. However, in the boundary, say for example here the uniform source of concentration is been taken into consideration, and then the concentration gradient is considered 0 in all the directions at the infinite boundary. So this is the entire mathematical model that we can understand. It's a partial differential equation having initial and boundary conditions, and as we know the boundary conditions are in the literature, if we will go through, we will be having of the Dirichlet type boundary conditions, we have a Cauchy type boundary conditions, we have a mixed type boundary conditions. So here you can see the concentrations which we are talking of the uniform type. So this is nothing but the Dirichlet type boundary conditions. However, in the concentration gradient is considering 0, it's a Cauchy type. And if you can mix them, where the linear combinations of the solution and its derivative exists, that we call as a mixed type boundary condition. However, in the hydrological literature, it is being also considered as a first type, second type, and third type boundary conditions as well. So to solve these partial differential equations, these are the assumptions which are being made and transformations which we are using over here. So the dispersion is directly proportional to velocity term which we are using, and the new time variable t is being introduced here. The transformation which are being made to reduce the differential equation into the significant one-dimensional problems, and this particular transformation is being used to reduce the convective term, because to solve the differential equation, if we will reduce the convective term, it is very easy to solve the. However, while reducing the term, it's have a little physical impact as well. Some of the parameter may be, importance of the parameters may be lost in between, but for the sake of convenience, we are using this particular transformation. So in between, I'm not going to the details how the solution is coming here over here. We are using the Laplace transform techniques. As you all know, how the differential equations is being solved by means of Laplace transform techniques. So we use the Laplace transformations and transform the Laplacian domain into time domain, and then we can use the inverse Laplace transformation to get the solution as well. So same here we are using and getting the solution in closed form like this. The special case which we are extracting from here itself, this is the three-dimensional solution, and from there we are finding the solution for line source problem, and then we are finding the solution for point source problem. Here you can see the reference, the Van Jonassens and others in 2013 has find the exact solution for this point source problem independently, and that point source problem we are extracting from the generalized solutions which we have obtained for three-dimensional problems. So these are the parameters which we are using in the line of the hydrological literature which is being available. And from there we use these data to analyze our solution graphically. So let us see here the contaminant concentration is being obtained here for the plane source at the end of 3 years. So you can see how the concentration profiles along the YZ plane is being representing here. And you can see the bar here, the concentration profile, the highest concentration is reaching to 1 and it is going to 0. Here you can see the contaminant concentration profile for plane source in the XY plane. And similarly, we have obtained in XZ plane. And to getting this concentration profile, MATLAB coding here is being used to get this result. This you can say the concentration profile which we have obtained from line source problem at the end of 2 years. So this is the two-dimensional problems you can see, and this problem has also been solved numerically just to compare with the analytical solutions how closely we are getting the result. So numerical solution and analytical star line is representing the analytical solution, and the solid line is representing the numerical solutions. So here the FTCS technique is being used, forward, time and central scheme. So this is being used at the end of 3 years, and you can see the very close representation is being made with the numerical and analytical solutions. You can see that concentration versus time is also being plotted here in the numerical and analytical solutions for this set of data, and this is also very close to each other. Here some little differences are there in between because of some error, maybe computation error in terms of truncation error or round off error. Here it is being coming in between. So while doing so, here the Laplace transformation is being used to solve the three-dimensional problem for non-point source of contaminations, and from there we are extracting the two-dimensional problem as a line source and one-dimensional problem as a point source of contaminations, and the numerical and analytical results are finding a very good agreement in between. So the impact of non-point source contamination like plane and line sources are discussed over here. And the application of this problem, once it appears in the journal, you can see immediately 2016 paper, it was published in the Journal of Hydrology, and immediately in 2017, it was referred in non-point source pollution and published in Water Environment Research. So this is a very important model which we had addressed, and we got the breakthrough in the very good journal. So this interest is to solve the problem of surface water and wettest zone hydrology areas always, those who are working in this area. The analytical solution derived are perhaps most useful for benchmarking the numerical codes and solutions. And this may also be used as a preliminary predictive tool for groundwater management. So this is one of the problem which we have addressed. Professor Joginder, how much time we have? 1 hour?
Yes, sir. We have 15 minutes in total.
So we have to conclude by 11, right?
10:55, sir.
10:55. Okay. So this is the another problem which I would like to refer, and it has also appeared in Journal of Hydrology in 2020 December. So this model is the multi-species convection dispersion transport equation with variable parameters. So here the highlight of this problem is basically the reactive multi-species migration system with variable transport parameter is being taken into consideration. Normally, while doing this work, we have gone through the literature. This type of problem has been done only with the constant transport parameters, not the variable transport parameters. So this is the uniqueness of this work, which has been endorsed by the Journal of Hydrology. And here we have discussed the steady and transient migration system, both in the steady and unsteady flow domain. And this problem is modeled for distinct value of various retardation factor for each of the species. And here homotopy analysis method is basically used to develop the series solution of the problem. So whenever we got the complex nature of the differential equation, exclusively the nonlinear differential equation, the analytical solution, getting the analytical solution is not always possible. So we have a method of homotopy analysis like giving the semi-analytical solution in the series form. So this is the highlight of this work, and this is the mathematical model which we are again. This is the advection dispersion equation, or rather you can say convection dispersion equation. Both the terms advection and convection are being used simultaneously in the literature, and both are representing having the same physical meaning. So here in general, this is the a differential equation, partial differential equation, popularly known as the convection dispersion equation, where R is representing the retardation factor, C is the concentration, D is dispersion coefficient, V is the velocity, K is the decay term, and here N is basically representing the number of species which we are talking about. Ith term is representing the species of nth species, or second or first or third, like that. So here the problem which we have addressed, the basically two species which we have taken into consideration. One is the parent and another is the daughter species. So so impact of parent species is taken into consideration in the daughter species as well. So these two differential equations having the initial and boundary conditions which we will be taking into consideration in this form. And here the fx and gx which we are considering in the form gx we have taken as 0 means the initial initial concentration is being taken. 0 means there is free contaminant free groundwater bodies are there. However, fx is of consideration of the exponentially decreasing form. So solving this particular model using homotopy analysis method in this particular problem is like that. So little background of homotopy analysis method I would like to give over here. So you can see the boundary conditions here being taken into this. Here is the linear operator which we are taking in this form, which satisfying the property Ti Pi is 0, and Pi is basically the integration constant, and phi1 and phi2 are being considered as the solution for both the species, and Q is lying between 0 and 1 closed interval that we call as a homotopy parameters, or it is also known as the embedding parameters, which is responsible for the deformation of the solution. And here the important aspect of homotopy analysis method is we have to assume the initial guess to get the final solution of the system. So the nonlinear operators are being defined like this in the form of equation 7a and 7b. And Liao is the scientist who has basically done the extensive work on homotopy analysis method. So the zeroth order deformation equations for both the species are being written in the form of 8a and 8b, where h1 and h2 are the control convergence parameters. And from here, the deformation equation, it is clearly verified that Q is equal to 0 is the corresponding to the initial guess C1 0 and C2 0, while Q is 1 is corresponding to the final equation C1 and C2 of the problem. So Q is lying between 0 and 1. So here the mth order deformation equation for both the species are defined like this, where chi m is 0 when m is equal to 1 and 1 when m is greater than 1. So the mth order deformation equation, the mth term of the approximate solution for C1 and C2, in general it is being written in the form of 10a and 10b. And when you will take the Q is 1, the approximate series solution for both the species is written like this. So this is what about the basic information about the methodology which we have used as a homotopy analysis method. And this method has been used to solve the problem which we have taken into consideration for the three different cases. First cases, we have taken the steady migration system in steady flow domain, where the dispersion parameter is taken like this and the velocity parameter is taken like this. And here you can see when beta we will be considering 1, alpha tends to 0. And this is for the very small value of the heterogeneity parameter, so far as alpha. Alpha is we are taking as a heterogeneity parameter. So considering this dispersion and velocity component, the mth order approximate solution for parent species is being defined as 13a and 13b. And you can see here, while solving, getting the individual values of C10, C11, C12 in this form, and C13, and you can see the solution for daughter species. Here we have seen the solution for parent species and then solution for daughter species as a 15a, 15b, and 15c. And then the case 2, here we have considered the transient migration system in steady flow domain. There was the steady migration in steady flow domain, and here is the transient migration system in steady flow domain. So here you can see the dispersion is being taken in this particular form and velocity is being taken in this particular form. And I mean, the dispersion is spatially dependent as well as temporally dependent. However, velocity is only spatially dependent. So keeping in the view of this, and it is being taken into consideration only because of the transient migration system here. So here also, in general, the solution, approximate solution, is being represented in form of 17a and 17b. However, the exact solution for, not we call as exact solution, I mean semi-analytical solution for the parent species are being obtained like 18a, 18b, and 18c. And for the daughter species, it's been taken as a 19a, 19b, and 19c. In a similar case 3, we have taken transient migration system in unsteady flow domain. So you can see the transient migration system in steady flow domain, case 2, and transient migration system in unsteady flow domain, case 3. So here you can see the dispersion is also temporarily and spatially dependent, and velocity component is also spatially and temporally dependent. So here the general approximate solution for parent species and daughter species are being considered as a 21a and 21b. However, the solution for parent species are referred to 20a, 20b, and 20c, and solution for daughter species are being referred to 23a, 23b, and 23c. So for graphical illustration of the problem, so here the 3 cases which we have addressed, and we obtained the solution by means of homotopy analysis method. So for graphical representations, we have a set of data available in the literature, and while you doing so, and here the terms which we have taken, psi-mt and xi-mt, which are being taken into consideration in the form of exponentially increasing form, exponentially decreasing form, linearly dependent form, and asymptotically dependent form. So this is the control convergence parameter which we were talking about in homotopy analysis methods. For this particular problem, H1 and H2 curve has been plotted versus the consideration. H is representing the control convergence parameters. H1 is for the parent species and H2 is for the daughter species. So here you can see the horizontal curve is almost lying between -1.6 to 0.6. However, H1 and H2, the values which we have taken into consideration for -0.1 to -0.2. So this is the concentration versus the control convergence parameter. And here the graphical representation, here the concentration versus the spatially dependent form, say distance, for both the species for steady transport in steady groundwater flow. I mean the case 1 which we have referred, and arrow is representing here the direction of the increasing timeline. I mean, say for example, here this plot has been made for the time domain 0, 20, and 40 hours. So t is equal to 0 like this, t is equal to 20 is this, and t is equal to 40 is like this. And in a similar fashion, the red line is being representing the parent species for concentration profile, and blue line is representing for daughter species for concentration line. So you can see the how the concentration profile is reaching the peak, and then you are then it is started decreasing with respect to the distance, and it depends upon the how the distance is being, I mean the solute is moving from the base to the outer boundary of the domain. So this is the first case which we have taken in the steady transport in steady flow domain. The effect of a spatial variation over pollutant concentration strength here which we taken. So alpha which we have taken for the heterogeneity parameters. So if we are changing the heterogeneity parameters, you can see how it basically behaves the concentration profile for parent species and daughter species. And this plot has been made for the fixed time t is equal to 40 hours. So here also you can see the when alpha we are referring to 0. So you can see the peak for the parent species is higher than the daughter species, and daughter species peak is lower. I mean the impact of the parent species is also included. If you will see the differential equations where we have modeled is included in the daughter species. So the concentration profile, peak of the concentration is lower than the parent species. So in a similar fashion, almost all say alpha is 0.1 which we are referring. So here you can see the peak is this, and here is close to 500. It is not exactly 500, but it's close to 500 centimeter it is being observed. So this is the profile concentration strength for parents and daughter species with respect to the heterogeneity parameter alpha. And here you can see the control convergence parameter again, which we have plotted for the case 2. So exponentially increasing form A is representing, B is representing the exponentially decreasing form, C is representing linear form, and D is representing the asymptotically varying transport parameters. So concentration, I mean the concentration versus the control parameter, convergence control parameter are being plotted over here for the different set of assumptions which we have made for dealing with the solute to concentration profile for case 2. And in case 2, what we have seen, it is a tangent with the steady flow domain. So in everywhere you can see the control convergence parameter, how it is basically moving for the H1 curve is coming for the parent species, and H2 curve is coming for the daughter species. So control convergence parameter is very, very important parameter for getting the convergent solution for the homotopy analysis method. However, you see the concentration versus distance for parent species in case of transient transport in steady groundwater flow, I mean case 2, for the different temporally dependent parameters which we have taken into consideration, increasing, decreasing, asymptotically. So you can see this plot has been made for t is equal to 20 hours. So how the concentration profile is shooting here up to the peak, and then with respect to the distance, it is coming down along with the other boundary domain. And then this is the case where the daughter species for the same plot for case 2, transient transport parameter in steady flow domain. So here you can see the concentration profile has been plotted with respect to the distance for the various temporally dependent parameters which we have taken in the different form. And these parameters which we are taking because of the, this is the significant importance lay down in the terms of the hydrological literature which is being available for dealing with the concentration profile. If we will talk about the Himalayan region, we will be having the exponentially decreasing form of the concentration profile. So all the field scale study which are being made in the hydrological literature, from there it has been transformed in the mathematical form. So it is not a random, expression has not been chosen. It is very well chosen close to the hydrological literature which is being available. So this is the case which we have discussed over here in the form of transient transport parameter in steady groundwater flow domain for the T is equal to 10, 20 and 30 hours for the parent species and daughter species together, so that a view you can have how the parent species concentration profile is higher than the concentration values at the daughter species. So it at each of the positions you can see. Say for example here T is equal to 10, the peak of the concentration is here. However, in daughter species the peak of concentration is almost close to here. So in a parents and daughter species for transient transport in a steady groundwater flow domain is being represented with respect to the distance. Here you can see the case 3. The control convergence parameter is again here it is being plotted for case 3, and other components are remain same. I mean the categorization of the temporally dependent parameters which we have taken in increasing, decreasing, linear and asymptotically varying transport parameters are remain same, as which we have discussed in case 2 as well. So control convergence parameter for all the cases here it is being plotted for case 3 as well. And then here you can see the concentration profile for the parent species for all the parameters which individually which we have taken, and almost the similar nature of the profile we are getting. Only difference which we are getting is case to case it varies the peak of the concentration profile. So in a similar fashion, which we concentration profile has been plotted here for T is equal to 20 hours for the daughter species, and the concentration profile is here also being plotted, and accordingly it is being decreasing with respect to the distance as move on. Here the comparison between the parents and daughter species for 10, 20 and 30 hours that we have already plotted for the case 2 as well. So this is the concentration profile for case 3. So in all the cases which we are finding here, the parent species concentration values are much higher than the daughter species. And now here you see the Simpsons and Ellery in 2014 has has obtained the exact solution for the problem which we have considered, and we have studied through Ham solution. So the comparison between these two has made, and rather you can say it's a validation you can say. So the validation of Ham solution with the exact solution which was obtained by Simpsons and Ellery in 2014. This is for the constant parameters, the parent species in case of constant parameters. So as in the beginning I told this multi-species migration transport parameter has been addressed in the most of the researches has been addressed by the constant parameters. However, here we have addressed the variable parameters. So the comparison between these two you can see the almost remains same. So the validation of the problem is being taken into consideration with the help of Simpsons and Ellery work in 2014. And here you can see for the daughter species which has also been obtained between these two and very close to the solution which we have obtained. It is very close to the exact solution which was obtained by Simpson and Ellery. So this is a kind of validation of the semi-analytical solutions which we have obtained. So the concentration strength validations, if you can see, by means of values which we have obtained with the different distances. And you can see this is the concentration values which we are getting through the Ham solution, and this is the concentration values which being obtained, through the Simpson and Ellery for t is equal to 0 hours. This is for t is equal to 20 hours, and this is for t is equal to 40 hours. So you can see here the almost close values which we are getting. In t is equal to 0 hours, you can remain same. However, in t is equal to 20 hours, you can see little difference we are getting in the second decimal places. So you can see, and the very small differences which we are obtaining in the concentration strength which we are getting. And because of that, the little differences which we are finding over here, because of that only. Because semi-analytical solutions it is not exact solution, so little differences we are getting over here. However, you can see for the Daughter species also which we have compared. So in Ham and Simpson's and Ellery solution remains same for t is equal to 0 hours. However, t is equal to 10 and 20 hours, little differences which we are finding over here so far as the concentration strength is concerned. Now you can see the validations are being made with variational iterative methods and the Ham solutions. So here the two way we have, validated our solution. One is the exact solution which was obtained by Simpson and Ellery, and another with the variational iterative method solutions. And these two also are getting almost the same concentration strength with respect to the distances which we are getting over here. So the validation of Ham solution with the variational iterative methods are being made over here for the for both the species in case of transient transport in steady groundwater flow, and also here the transient species with the unsteady groundwater flow. I mean all the three cases which we have discussed to get the solution through the Ham, it has also been validated with the variational iterative method as well, and we are getting the almost similar solution here. So here is the comparison, or rather you can say the application of this particular solution. So here two species which are being taken as the, you can see the NH4 and Na2 and ammonia and nitric. So nitrification chain variation in case of constant and variable dependent transport parameter for the fixed time t is equal to 10 hours, it has been compared. You can see the blue line is the constant parameter case Ham solution. The red line with circle constant parameter case for VIM, and here the variable parameter black line, and then the red star is the variable parameter. So you can see here also the validations, or rather you can say the applications which we are choosing here, the two species method that was basically used by Guraro and others in 2009, considering these two species, and the parameters which they have chosen, we are validating with our solutions and getting the profile remains same. So the application of this particular solution in terms of the nitrification chain variation parameter has also been addressed. So now so these are the two models which we have projected over here, and both the models are very well endorsed with the very reputed journal in Journal of Hydrology. So I thought, okay, in this particular platform, at least the people should know how the mathematics, exclusively the differential equations which we are talking about, on which the workshop has been designed, is well applicable in the physical system as well. Only thing is that how physical understanding of the individual you are having, and how closely you are using the mathematical tools which we have gone through in the entire system from the graduate level to the higher level as well. So now, what could be the approach for mathematical modeling? So the technical part is over. Only thing we are now summarizing within 2 to 3 minutes. So you can see here the analysis of a strength and weakness which we have to make. I mean the means of if you are trying to model anything, what are the strength and weaknesses of the physical system which we are trying to target? What are the mathematical tools which we are having with us? How closely we are representing that particular tools to frame the model, and how it could be the model which we are thinking, how basically it is being I mean closely related with the physical system. So as closer as the physical system is representing the model is accordingly more valuable. So at the same time, we have to strengthen our existing knowledge, and this is not a process of one day or one night business. It's a continuous approach is needed to strengthen our knowledge in terms of the not only the mathematical tools. If we have to go through the other part of the domain knowledge is also very important to model the problems. And whatever the modeling which we are thinking on that, we have to plan accordingly for mode of execution. I mean any model which we are modeling, and if it is not being usable so far as the physical system is concerned, it will be meaningless for us. So, and the continuous monitoring and upgradation is needed. I mean certain models you have developed for the particular understanding of the physical system, so that model needs to be upgraded as and when required. And then we need the integrated approach. So what integrated approach which we were talking about? So basically the model is basically helping us that taking the research problem is not common. We should take the research problem which is not in common. Normally we used to take the problem very easy, thinking in the mind that it will be easily solved, it will be easily reflected. But our concern is it should be taken which is not problem. You should take if it is not in common, then it will be recognition will be more you will be getting. We don't have to think about the big science or big model. Even you a small science if you are making close to the reality, it will give a very good impact. And picking up a problem is a big problem. Normally we fail to pick the right problems. So even if you are choosing a problem, if you fail to understand, you try to put forward your basic information and knowledge which you are having, that should be deal with. So normally people think, oh my God, it's a very small problem. Why we should choose? You should choose a small problem, and simultaneously you will find you will be leading towards the bigger problem as well. So we have to do the right science to the right problem as we are choosing. And in between, angers also coming in. So anger will definitely kill the scientific temperament. So we should not go with this particular phenomena here. Even though you are failed to address the problem which we have chosen, we should not go with the anger. Otherwise, it will kill your scientific temperament and you will never succeed. And basically, we need the crazy people to do the mathematical modeling, because we have to closely observe the physical system. You have to correlate with the physical system with the mathematical knowledge which we are having. So that is the very important aspects. We need the crazy people and will to do the right things, because normally here many of the people will fail to do so. So that is the firm determination should be there to convert the physical system into the mathematical system. And the mathematicians and scientists are very well contributing to develop the new models. And only aspect is here in our country is the funding. Funding is very bad, sir. I could quote here by C.V. Raman, physicist. I strongly believe that the fundamental science cannot be driven by instructional, industrial, and government or military pressures. This was the reason why I decided as far as possible not to accept money from the government, quote and unquote, by C.V. Raman in 1970. So this funding issues has to be addressed, whosoever is the, stakeholders. that should taken into consideration. The funding is very, very bad shape in our country. And this is the integrated approach for modeling which we were talking about. So this is the modeling which will be based on the physical understanding of the problem which we are targeting. And here we are referring to the mathematical tools. Whatever tools you are knowing, maybe a statistical, maybe a numerical, maybe finite element approach, maybe any other approach. I mean all the mathematical tools which we are having, how correlate we are correlating between the mathematical and physical understanding, and the processing is accordingly being made. And the processing of the physical understanding to the mathematical tools, both are integrating, and then only you will be getting the successful model which will be useful in the due course of time. And this is the one slide which we are referring about so far as my contribution in the field of education, in the field of academics, in the field of research and development, and in the co-curricular activities, and in the terms of administration. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, sir, for a nice talk.
And if you are having any question or query, I'm happy to.
Yeah, let me invite the participant if they have any queries. So participant, just you raise your hands if you have any question to ask to the speaker. I will come one by one. Just raise your hands. सर स्क्रीन अनशेयर कर दीजिए आप.
Okay.
Yes, is there any question from the participant? Okay, probably this is very new topic to all. That is why they they are not able to understand all those things. But just I have a question, sir.
Yes.
As you modeled each and every equations in terms of concentrations, and whether, as I understand, concentration is the concentration of pollutant.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
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 So when I want to know that you model the problem, physical problem in terms of differential equations and find the solution. When you find the solution, what solution represents?
Solution is basically representing, as I told, it's basically we are referring to the problem related with the groundwater contamination. So groundwater is being contaminating with the solute or different type of pollutants entering into the system, right? So solute concentration C is basically representing the solution which we are getting is basically the concentration of the solute particles which we are referring to the groundwater reservoir. The concentration.
That means such kind of pollutions we have in water, right?
Yes, yes.
And do you also provide the solution? How can we remove such pollutions from the water?
Yeah, the first model which we have referred here, in which we have seen non-point source of contamination, which we have observed that the solute concentration is being almost negligible in the vicinity of close to 8 kilometers, 7 point something, which we have observed through the our model. So if we are putting a garbage, let us say for example you are municipal garbage, where municipal garbage are being placed somewhere in the abandoned place where we are placing, but we are not placing referring to the city, whether it is a 2 kilometer radius or 3 kilometer radius or even within a 1 kilometer radius, the municipal garbage are being placed. So that is dangerous for the city as well. So here this study told at least the garbage should be placed in the vicinity of beyond the 8 kilometer for the safer side.
Okay, okay, very good.
So that it will not impact, the water bodies of the people who are residing in the particular city.
Very good, sir. Very good. Excellent. With that, let us invite our participant and organizing team to on their video so that we may have a pics for our memory. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your time to spend with us. I am obliged to you, sir, for the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please switch off your camera, participant, please.
So, should I leave now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. If you want to join other session, that's great. Otherwise, you mail you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Now, let us know the participant. As the previous schedules, Professor P.N. Agrawal was to be supposed here to deliver a talk, but he has some health issue, and that is why he is not here with us. In his absence, I am much thankful to Dr. Kamlesh Kumar Dubey, who is Associate Professor and Head in University, Bareilly, and he given his kind consent to deliver a talk on very short notice. So I am very thankful to you, Shruti. Let us introduce our next speaker.
Yes. Okay. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Kamlesh Kumar Dubey. He is an associate professor in mathematics and head of the Department of Applied Sciences and Humanities in Invertis University, Bareilly, UP. He completed his MSc from University of Allahabad and then PhD from Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Gorakhpur University in specialization of differential geometry. He has been published 29 research papers in international and national repute journals and presented papers in many conferences. He has also given lectures to many seminars and webinars on different topics on mathematics in national and international level. His main area of specializations are differential geometry and modeling. Sir will give knowledge on differential equations as a tool of modeling. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you, Shruti. And I'm audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are
Okay.
audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, first of all, very good morning to all of you, and I'm very thankful to Dr. Joginder sir that he has given me a chance and he remember me to be present in this workshop also. And I'm very thankful to the uh, Department of the Mathematics of this DIT University. So, as I got a very short notice for this presentation, so I tried to share some basic thoughts about the modeling. And right now I'm going to present my Dr. Saab.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's sharing.
Sharing, sir?
Yes, sir. Beside the mic, you see, beside the mic there is arrow. You can share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now is
Yes,
it
sir.
visible? Visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, sir.
Great, sir. Great.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So my topic is differential equations as a tool of modeling, and I'm not going to describe many more complicated cases and for the modeling. So I'm going to talk with the differential equation, what is differential equation, how we can use, and what are our approaches, and what make affect our imagination. Dr. Saab, Joginder sir.
Yes, sir.
The language will be both or only English, sir. Can we?
Yeah, you can convey in both languages, sir. I don't think there is any issue.
Okay, sir. So the differential equation which we use since I think +2 level when we learn about the calculus. Then after that we encountered with some derivatives function and manual, and at that level we are not able to understand what does it mean. So a very uh, very small and very minute equations have a I think in mathematics every equation has geometrical interpretation. So when we got a solution of a differential equation, it also has a geometrical interpretation. So starting with this, I would like to present on this topic why differential equation. So in this we will see that the why we consider the differential equation. The behavior of this, as you see in the slide, the behavior of the derivative is often of more interest than the function itself, especially over short and medium time periods. So that is the concept of the differential equation, why we introduce a differential equation, why we use, what are the relevance of the differential equation, what does it meant in our life, what does it correlate to our parameters which we consider thereof. So what often we count is how rapidly a system responds rather than its level. So you can see the factors, that is a velocity and acceleration. This is a very basic example which we correlate with the differential equation. When we use a distance is a function of time we get a velocity and many more. So natural scientists often provide theory of biologists and engineers in form of differential equation. There are many uses, many applications of the differential equation. When we correlate with our problems, that becomes a modeling. So many fields such as pharmacokinetics and industrial process control, routinely we use differential equations as model. Differential equations also use a feedback generating system to develop the control and behavior of the system. Also, we have solved the nth order, mth order, or any order. We have explored first order differential equation, second order, third order, and many more. And we have solved by various method of the various order of the differential equation. System of differential equation also we have solved, and we have seen that the what gives its solution and what is the relevance of this solution. So the system of differential equation, we will see that the application of this, such as the treatment and symptoms, predator and prey model, also we will see later. And also the differential equation correlate with time scale also. When we use in our differential geometry, many of more of us also familiar with the differential geometry, and when we pick out a problem of a time scale problem, that is a space time or in a relativity, we can see that how useful is this differential equation in the sometimes we can see the satellite launching and the trajectory of the satellite, so we can calculate and we can predict the since in this satellite projection system we cannot have a prediction based analysis. That means we should have a more I think more fixed at our I think prediction should be more accurate. Prediction accuracy should be more accurate in this trajectory for this trajectory. So a first order equation can model events in 2 time scale, long term scale. We can model data on functions or functional input output systems. So there are many more applications of various order of the differential equation. These models will be dynamic in the sense of also model the rate of change in the system. So starting with the basic concept, you have seen that the equations describe the relations between the dependent and independent variable. It's just with the beginning, I will correlate all these things, and it is just a overlook of these equations, differential equation. Order, degree, linear equation, non-linear equation, all of the examples of this differential equation, we have seen that there are some examples in which we have taken the independent variable, dependent variable, and order and degree. We have described all these. So this is a basic introduction of a differential equation. Some other examples in which we can use our differential equation, or naturally the differential equation occur in these problems such as Newton's second law of motion, Maxwell's equation, Kirchhoff law, heat equation, wave equation, and in that way we approach many type of differential equation in just like linear, non-linear, ordinary, partial, homogeneous, non-homogeneous, and a combination of all these things. So we have in front of us, we have all these that ordinary differential equation, solution of which are the family of curves. When we solve a ordinary differential equation, then we got the solution, and the geometrical interpretation of that is a family of curves. Whatever will be the solution at the particular solution gives the particular family, particular curve, and the partial differential equation gives rise the solution of this PDE, solution of family of surfaces. And when we implement the initial condition or boundary condition, then we get the particular solution. So in back, you can see that some examples, some of these are first, second are the ODE, and third one is the PDE also. And now we will talk about the solution. There are some type of some types of the solution which we call it the general solution, particular solution, singular solution. General solution are those solutions obtained from the integrating the differential equation, and ordinary differential equation contains arbitrary constant resulting from the integrating times. And the particular solution are the solutions obtained by assigning specific values of the arbitrary constant in the general solution. That is, in the particular solution, there is no scope of the constant. We have the value of the constant also. And the singular solution that cannot be expressed by the general solution are called the singular solution. Now, what are the explicit and implicit solutions? Any solution that gives in the form of y is equal to fx is explicit, and when it cannot be written in this form, it can be implicit. Now there are two type of conditions, that is initial condition and boundary conditions. Constraints that are specified at the initial point, generally time point, are called initial conditions. Problem with specific initial conditions are called the initial value problems. For example, dy by dx plus y equal to 0, and when we take a y at x equal to 0 equal to 1. Another one is dz by dt equal to 1, and the initial condition, that is at t equal to 1, the value of the z is equal to minus 1. Likewise, in the boundary condition, that constraints are specified at the boundary points. That is, generally in space points are called the boundary conditions. Problems with specified boundary conditions are called the boundary value problems. Just like in the examples, you see that d2z over dt plus dz over dt plus z equal to 1. And in this, we have condition z at 0 equal to 2 and z dash 2 at equal to minus 1. So all these are the examples of these two type of the condition called as the initial and boundary conditions. Now here are some examples and standard forms of the first order differential equation. And the application of this is another is the orthogonal trajectory. Given one parameter family of curves. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So given a one parameter family of curves, that is a function of xy, and obviously there will be a constant. So a curve that intersects each member of the family at right angle is called the orthogonal trajectory of the family. So as we know that the solution of a differential equation, ordinary differential equation, represent a family of curves. So in this family of curves, those members which are at right angles. So the collection of all these families are called as the orthogonal trajectory. The one parameter family fxy equal to 0 and gxy k equal to 0 are orthogonal trajectories if each member of one family is an orthogonal trajectory of the other family. So there are we are always familiar, and we are enough familiar to how to determine this family of the curves using these following steps. And this is an example of orthogonal trajectory, how to find this family. Now this is a linear example of an linear second order differential equation in which we have two type of differential equation, homogeneous and non-homogeneous. Solving second order linear homogeneous ODE with constant coefficients, we have solved all of these, and using the auxiliary equation we find the root of the auxiliary equation, and uh, the type of the roots depend on the complementary function of the solution. Whenever the roots are real and distinct, so roots are equal, roots are complex, roots are double root, and many more. So there are different type of the solutions we called as the general solution or complementary function. Now second order non-homogeneous linear differential equation are the type of this is the function of this type y is equal to yh plus yp, where yp denotes the one solution of the differential equation and yh is the general solution of the associated homogeneous equation. L of y equal to 0 method for obtaining yh when the differential equation has constant coefficients. So we give the particular solution yp and once yh is known. Now another method we use to solve linear differential equation, that is ODE, that is variation of parameter, in which we get a complementary function y is equal to u f1x plus v f2x, and then we where u and v are the known functions in the complementary function, then we get the f1x and f2x by using the integral method of u and v from different methods. And the solution of the linear homogeneous equations also, this is another method using Wronskian, and the Wronskian gives the existence and uniqueness concept for the existence of the solution. That is, consider of this initial value, consider this differential equation in which the initial value problem is given like this: d2y over dx plus that is the d2y over dt square, that is function of t, plus dy over dt plus function of ty equal to the function of another t, such that y at the initial point t0 possesses the value y0 and y prime at the initial point t0 possesses the y dash double 0. So if p, q and g are the continuous and bounded on this open interval I containing t0, then there exists exactly one solution yt of this equation valid on y if like this, where the Wronskian is defined like this. Wronskian of the two function f and g is a determinant of fg, f dash and g dash. Now going towards the mathematical modeling. So what are the mathematical models and why we use? There are some factors for this mathematical model. Some factors are when we go to formulate the real life problems or the problems surrounding us into mathematical problems. So following steps we have to take: identify problem area, conduct the background research, state project goal, define relationship, and develop mathematical model. And in intermediate level, we need some help also, that is develop some computational algorithm, perform test calculation, interpret results, and communicate results. So all these four factors are the intermediate, and some supporting tools from the other I think just like from the computer background or the statistical background peoples. So these algorithms using these algorithm, we can use different computational tools, different softwares to solve our mathematical model problems. Now, first we can see that our linear model. When we use a differential equation that is first order linear differential equation or first order differential equation, in which we have four type of differential equation, that is a variable, separable, homogeneous, and linear and exact. So hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One sir student आ गए थे. So is it visible, no sir?
Yes, yes.
Totally. Okay, sir. So full screen. So in linear model, we can have the concept, and we should think about the behavior of some real life system or phenomenon which will be converted into mathematical model. And the construction of the mathematical model, first we have to think in our I think concept, or first we should think in our consideration the identification of the variables, and which will help to avoid more complicated modeling into a simple model. So what variable we are going to take, it is more important when we go to model a problem, real life problem. Then we make some reasonable assumption, or that is called as some physical laws. So starting the model, so assumptions, then express a differential equation, then mathematical formulation, then solve the differential equation, then obtain the solution, then display it graphically, then check model predictions with known facts, and so on. Now we can see that where it appears in real world problem, we often notice that the changes occur, and we want to predict the future behavior on the basis of how current values changes. As we say that the differential equation is a combination of a dependent variable, independent variable, and the derivative. And you know that derivative is nothing but is a factor that shows a rate of change in a dependent variable with respect to the independent variable. So whenever there will be a rate of change, then this derivative occurs. That means whenever a quantity is changed with respect to another quantity, and we take the problem to our consideration, and we want to make this problem into mathematical problem, then always we have a derivative coefficient, and when this derivative coefficient involves, we have a differential equation, and whenever we want to formulate in our modeling the differential coefficient always available there, and that's why the differential equation is more important for modeling purpose of the real life problem. Many of our problems correlated with the real life problems. Whenever we go to formulate the any problem into mathematically, then we find that the many of the problems are real world problem, and we use our maximum knowledge, whatever in calculus, whatever in geometry, whatever in differential equation, whatever in the integral equation, whatever we have, I think numerical technique also. So we use all these techniques using some mathematical tools, just like Mathematica, just like MATLAB or Python. Nowadays the Python is well-known language and very burning language to solve these problems. So these are the tools to solve the mathematical problem. But first we have to formulate the problem into mathematically. When we will be able to formulate the problem, then these tools, just like MATLAB or Mappl or Mathematica or the Python, will solve our problem and give us to solution. So when we formulate our problem, so there are some applications. In these applications we can find easily we can find the maximum of our mathematical problems or real life problems among these applications, that is the population dynamics, radioactivity, decay, spread of diseases, chemical reactions, Newton law of cooling, mixtures, training a train, series circuit, falling bodies and air resistance, suspended cables. There are many more also problems which I am not able to list here. There are many more problems, and we can see that whenever we use the modeling, we can have some factors which can be involved here. So you can see that the mechanical engineering, it is also a mathematical problem, and you can see the differential equation for this suspension that is can be used in a vehicle, and you can see that the differential equation, that the spring of mass system, and which we have seen in our graduation level. That is the chemical engineering. Chemical engineering, rate of salt dissolve in a mixing when we are going to mix a salt in some other chemical, then what will be the rate of the solvent, and at which rate the concentration of the liquid is up to our desired level. In electrical engineering, you can see that the circuit system also, LCR circuit, and we have also read in some engineering mathematics problem in which you have solved the differential equation, ODE differential equation. Also in the civil engineering problem, this is the bridge problem. We have, whenever we made a bridge, we make a bridge, we knew the suspension and at what rate, at what material, what will be the quality of the material, all of the things. When we convert these problems into mathematical, so we can see that every problem in our life and surrounding us converted into a mathematical problem, and maximum of them involve the differential equation. This is another example of a civil engineering problem in which bridge and other things can be made. Heat transfer problem. You can see we have read, this is this is an example of Newton law of cooling, and this formula is also the Newton law of the cooling also. This is also an example, the falling body problem also. Now take a particular first order modeling, that very basic modeling. We cannot, I think I have to say that whenever we talk about the mathematical modeling, we cannot be afraid. मतलब हमें ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि हमें डर लगे या हम ये सोचे कि बहुत ही टिपिकल कोई ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है ये मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग कि जिसे हम स्टडी नहीं कर सकते या हम उसको हमें पढ़ने में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आएगी. सो बहुत ही बेसिक हम देखेंगे कि बहुत ही बेसिक प्रॉब्लम्स जो कि हमारे सराउंडिंग में है, जिसको अगर हम चाहें तो मैथमेटिकली फॉर्मुलेट कर सकते हैं. वी कैन फॉर्मुलेट मैथमेटिकली द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ सराउंडिंग अस. सो picking a problem that is a Newton law of cooling, you can see that the temperature is body is a function of a time. Small t is a time and capital T is a temperature. Capital A is the temperature of the surrounding medium. So we have to find the rate of change of the temperature with respect to time. D of capital T over dt, that is equal to minus K capital T minus A. This is the Newton law of the cooling, where K is the constant. Newton law of the cooling says that it is proportional to the. So this can be check into the real life problem, that is a pizza problem. When a pizza is removed from a oven, its temperature is measured at something. 3 minutes later, its temperature is 200. How long will it take it for the pizza to cool off for a room temperature? So we can calculate this using this Newton law of cooling. The rate at which the temperature of body changes is proportional to the difference between the temperature of the body and temperature of the surrounding. In this way, we can see and implement our basic rules, which I have read in our 10+2 level physics also. We can implement these rules, and we can find there are interesting results. We have get and we are able to get more interesting, and in this way our interest will develop to formulate and model to model the problem surrounding us. This is actually this is the basic model using the formula. Now when we go further, we calculate these factors from, that is when we measure the temperature decay from 300 Fahrenheit to 1700 Fahrenheit, we find a solution, and when we plot the system, we can see that this is the graph. So there are many more results we can use, many more methods we can use. When we start with the formula, we can, and we reach to the graph. So when we use the formula, we find you see that we find a differential equation where we find the solution of this. The solution of this will be the capital T is a function of a small t, and when we plot this, we find a temperature is a function of the time. And in this way, whenever we measure the temperature, we always find the solution. Another first order differential equation application is the growth and decay model, population growth or radioactivity decay. Population growth model where we can use, and radioactive decay we can use. Radioactive decay we use to find the date of a body, date of origin, and what is the date of existence of that body, what and how many long term the body will exist. Population growth is the problem where just like in these days, the most burning example is the corona example. Number of the infected peoples are growing day by day. Sometimes the number of the infected peoples are decreasing day by day. So these type of models can be used. Dx by dt is equal to plus k of x, dx by dt equal to minus k of x. K is positive for F for growth and K is negative for F for decay. So in this way we can apply like this. A lake has a constant volume V and is continuously well mixed so that the pollution is uniform throughout. Lake pollution model. Lake pollution model can also be considered and also be implemented in our real life and daily use problem, just like in our kitchen, just like in our home. We can take a factor in our fresh air and polluted air also. Capital C of T is the concentration of the pollution in the lake at the time T. F is the rate at which the water flows out in the of the lake in meter cube per day. And since the volume is constant, so the flow of the mixture into lake, flow of the mixture out of the lake equal to F. Apply the balance law of the mass of the pollutant. The rate of change of the mass pollutant in the lake equal to rate at which pollutant enters the lake minus rate at which the pollutant leaves the lake. And so which will lead to a differential equation also. So in this way we can think the problem surrounding us and we can formulate, and we will see that we have a basic type of differential equation. So major thing is to how we think the problem surrounding us. Now this is another example and another point of view to see that is same problem. St is the amount of the salt in the tank at time t. S0 is the amount of the salt dissolved in the tank at t equal to 0, and C, that is concentration of the incoming mixture at time t. So when salt inflow in the tank or the lake and salt outflow. So rate of change of mass of salt in tank equal to the rate of mass salt that enters in the tank minus mass of the salt that leaves the tank. So rate of salt entering to the tank equal to this. And since we have, we see that in the left hand side that is rate, so obviously we have a differential equation like this. So this is an example, particular example of this lake pollution problem. We can see also the pollution of community is known to increase at the rate proportional to the number of people present at the time. If an initial population P0 has doubled in 5 years, how long will it take it to triple? So that is, the pollution of a community is known to increase at the rate proportional to the number of people present at time t. We can see that. And when we mathematically formulate it, we can see that the population growth, that is the population in a country, is a positive exponential curve. We also find this. This is another example of a first order mathematical model in which a tank we can mix some another mixture and see what is the output rate and what will be the rate of the outflow. A is the amount of the salt at time t. dA over dt is the rate at which AT changes. So dA over dt equal to input rate of the salt minus output rate of the salt. And in this way we can calculate the rate of this mixture. That problem can be taken into another way. Concentration of the salt inflow into input rate of the brine. So you can see various problems are more similar. When we read some mathematical modeling book or some theoretical books, theories also, we see in the book that this problem is of this particular type of the problem and that problem is that particular of the problem. And when we try to correlate, this problem may be a that problem that will be equivalent to our surrounding problem. So that will be more interesting, and we can have interest. Whenever we have an interest in the problem, we always try to convert, and we see that we have interest, and whenever we have interest, we always feel good. So this is a problem. Now the compartment model. Compartment model is nothing but that is whenever we have a vessel and we mix something, the concentration of the liquid in a compartment, that is for example initial concentration is T, and we mix another liquid in that tank, then what will be the concentration of the final mixture? So there will be two conditions: when the vessel is closed, and another when the vessel is open from another side. So this is the example when the vessel is open from another side and we mix the another salt or another liquid to the existing liquid, and when the vessel is closed and we mix the another salt. So what will be the differential equation? How can solve this? That is when a compartment, just like our body is a compartment. When we got an injection, just like corona vaccine, how it long take to mix up with the concentration of the blood? What concentration of that vaccine will be after 10 days, after a month, after 2 months, after 10 months? Doctors and modelers analyze this and they say the result, the concentration level, when the concentration level will be at that point, then the effect of the vaccine will be this. So the conservation of the mass law is applicable here, and you see that the dC over dt, that is equal to minus k times of concentration, basic concentration, and plus dV over d over v, that is multiplied by incremental time increment, where d is the mass injected and d of delta t is the rate of injection. Concentration, we consider that the concentration of the injected fluid, that may be medicine, that may be another fluid in another, for example, when we are going to make a sarbat or ruabza, we pour sugar into water, then our ruabza. So what should be the concentration? You can also formulate. What concentration you need of the ruabza in the sarbat? You can calculate. So that are different type of applications, and so here is another method and model of the compartment model, that is distributed and compartmental lumped model. Distributed is the where the concentration varies separately within the compartment according to the Fick's law, and compartmental, that is the lumped model, that is a type of the compartment model where the concentration is the same at all location in the compartment. That is, the first model is the distributed model, that is when the concentration varies. That we can see that when we infected by a disease and we get an injection. So first day we get injection, the concentration of the injection liquid decay in first day, second day, then doctor prescribed to take the second dose of injection at particular time interval. So when we take the second dose, then the concentration of the injection liquid is at per level. So when concentration, our goal is to have the concentration of the desired liquid in the compartment so that the system remain safe and remain consistent. So maintain the system consistent, we have to add on some outer liquid to the existing liquid. Whenever the liquid in the system have some factor, when it goes the concentration goes day by day decay. This is the mathematical description of this compartment model, where dc over dt is that minus k times of c. That means the concentration at the rate of the with respect to t is always have a decrement. So we can solve this and we get a exponential curve also. Now when we have two compartment model, what will be the concentration of the first compartment, what will be the concentration in the second compartment? You can see we can imagine our body is a first compartment and the syringe is the second compartment. When we take a syringe to take an injection, the concentration of this injection goes to the bottom. So the concentration level of this liquid, that is medicine, always affect the concentration of the second compartment. And this is the mathematical interpretation of this. Second two type of the compartment model, and we get a differential equation like this, and the solution of this will get. Two compartment model can also be used in LCR circuit or RLC circuit, in which we use the capacitor, inductance and resistance also, like this. It can be used also in the pharmacokinetic model, where you can see vascular concentration, plasma flow, and there are many more things which are related to our biological problems. So going and applying our problem or mathematical problem, when we choose when we apply the problem in first compartment model, then two compartment model, then three compartment model, there may be many compartments, and we see that the mathematical formulation and the implementation of this compartment model goes more complicated, and also it can be solvable. If we can solve the first compartment model, we can solve also the second compartment model, two compartment model, we can solve also the three compartment model, and we can solve many more compartment models, and we can make it also. So what is the result of that consideration which when we use modeling in our compartment model, that is while the equation became more complicated as more components are added, the basic concept remain the same. Basic concept always same, and the system can be analyzed through the same tools you would use to analyze a linear system in electrical engineering or any other first order linear differential equation. So the basic concept will always same, while the modeling will go complicated and complicated. So हमें मतलब डरने की जरूरत नहीं कि अगर हमने एक छोटे सा प्रॉब्लम को किया और उसके बाद अगर हम दूसरे प्रॉब्लम को अगर हम फॉर्मुलेट कर रहे हैं तो ये कुछ ज़्यादा बड़ा आ रहा है, या फिर इसके बाद जब हम और फॉर्मुलेट कर रहे हैं तो कुछ और ज़्यादा बड़ा आ गया मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम, तो उसको सॉल्व करने के लिए जो हमारे पास जो टूल्स होंगे वो वही बेसिक टूल्स हैं. This is you can see that this compartment model very basic level, in which single input and single output, drug intake जो हम लेते हैं, डाइजेस्ट करते हैं, ब्लड में मिलता है, उसके बाद टीसी मिलता है. Applications of balancing law gives us two work equations which we have discussed earlier.
Sir, we have time constraint.
1 minute, sir. So this is, I think this problem we have discussed also. So I'm skipping all these particular type of these are the problems when we are taking a medicine. That is another example and another application of the laminar versus turbulent flow. You can see that the laminar flow and the turbulent flow dominated by the viscosity forces is called laminar flow and is characterized by smooth, parallel and line motion of the fluid. And turbulent fluid, you can see when inertia forces dominate the flow is called the turbulent flow. This is also another example of this compartment model, where resistance of the liquid level systems and many factors can work in this system. So we can have, you can see that whatever will be the real life problem, it always contain some differential equation, and that differential equation is a very basic differential equation, not a very typical differential equation. Only you have to do that what is to analyze that problem. You can see that in this example, rate of change of liquid stored in the tank is equal to the flow in the minus flow out. This is ordinary differential equation, very basic, and you will have to solve and you will have to find the solution. You can solve the differential equation using any tool, using Laplace transformation, using the very basic calculation, using Mathematica, MATLAB, whatever you want to use the tool. You have to only find the solution and predict the result. So these are the very basic examples, very basic. So now we have we are going towards the conclusion that the differential equation contains the derivatives of the unknown function. Given some simple differential equation, we can sometime guess at the form of the function. And so we will work backwards. Whenever we will work backward from the solution to the differential equation. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हमें जो सोल्यूशन नहीं मिलता, हम लोग ट्रिक यूज करते हैं. कभी कभी हम लोग बैकवर्ड से जो है आते हैं प्रॉब्लम पे. वी आर गोइंग टू लुक सम सिंपल वंस अ बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द, मतलब इसको हम लोग देखते हैं कि कैसे, बिल्कुल जस्ट एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल है फ़ारेनहाइट और टेम्परेचर फॉर सेल्सियस को मेजर करने का, जिसका कि सीधा सीधा एक हमें मिलता है ये dc/df इक्वल टू 5/9 and so the differential equation is a constant function and the solution is a linear function. You can see that. Some more complex, अगर इसी को हम थोड़ा सा और अगर टिपिकल करना चाहें तो आप देखते हैं ये this is the Newton law of motion. Position of an object as moving at a constant acceleration c is given by this. थोड़ा सा और अगर हम कॉम्प्लेक्स देखें, द वैल्यू ऑफ द डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द वैल्यू ऑफ द फंक्शन बैक्टीरिया ग्रोथ. ईस्ट में, in the east we can see the growth of the bacteria, that is the population growth model. This is also. So all these information and all these applications, there are some types of differential equations, and the solution of those consist, and the combination of those differential equations make a large modeling, which we think that is that model is a very large type of model, very complicated model, but not always all the models are the complicated. They consist very basic differential equation which we have to solve, and we can predict, we can see, we can plot the curve just like this, and after plotting the curve we can have a result where we sometime result may be I think predictive, and sometime it will be determinative. So that is another model, that is the pre-predictor model. In that model we always get a system of the linear differential equation. We cannot write a formula to express the solution of this system of the equation always, where r is the growth of the rate of the prey, that, and if there are no predators, and m is the decay rate of the predator. प्रे-प्रेडेटर मतलब शिकार और शिकारी का जो एक कॉन्सेप्ट होता है जंगल में, वो हम लोग लेके चलते हैं। 3 फैक्टर्स होते हैं। हम लोगों ने बहुत ही बेसिक लेवल पे ये डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन की ये मॉडलिंग देखी है कि शेर होगा और हिरन होगा और घास है। हिरन घास खाएगा, हिरन की संख्या बढ़ेगी, हिरन संख्या बढ़ेगी, शेर हिरन को खाएगा, शेर की संख्या बढ़ेगी, शेर की संख्या बढ़ेगी तो हिरन को खाएगा, फिर हिरन कम होने लगेंगे, हिरन कम होंगे तो फिर शेर कम होने लगेंगे, हिरन ज़्यादा बढ़ेंगे तो फिर घास की संख्या कम होने लगी। तो इस तरह से एक ये साइकिल बनता है। और ये मॉडलिंग जो है, ये जो साइकिलिंग है, इसको जब हम अपने मैथमेटिकल मॉडल में कन्वर्ट करते हैं, दैट गिव्स लाइक दिस ट्रिपल मॉडल. So ultimately we can say that generally real world differential equations are not directly solvable. Sometimes it may be. That's when we use sometimes numerical approximation. That is prediction. So we could use also numerical methods to approximate a solution, but we can find one ultimate. So the most important of the application of the calculus is differential equation, which we can say wherever is the change and whenever we are going to calculate the rate of change in any factor, we always have a differential equation and always we can solve. And whenever we solve this, we have some geometrical concept also. So only we have to focus on that geometrical concept, and that will give the result. So thank you so much, Yogandhar sir. Thank you all. Sir, आवाज you are not audible, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your nice talk from the beginning and to you take from beginning to advanced level and let our participant make understand with the basic of differential equations and how that differential equations may be applied to solve our real world problems by mathematical modelings. Very nice talk, sir. Although we don't have time, but I will ask our participant if they have any queries, any question, discuss. Just raise your hands. Okay, so I don't think there is any question because this is lunch time. Everybody will be focused for lunch. Yes, then you can on your camera so that we may have some pics. And other side we have Professor Prashant Kumar from IIT Kanpur, IIT Patna, and he will deliver the talk how to solve differential equation using MATLAB. I believe that that session is going to very important for all of us. So let join next slide. Okay, thank you very much to all. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Should I leave now, sir?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, participants, let us join at 2 p.m.
Thank you, sir.